my resident Patriots fan, Chris Brockman here on my left, brought to my attention, because I went through this before. I was a member of the Oakland Raiders back then, 2009. And I remember my head coach at the time, Tom Cable, called me to his office during training camp. Now, Chad, that's not a great sign. You're the starting middle linebacker, and coach calls you in right before cut down day, says, I want to talk to you. So I full on intended like, wow, I'm either getting cut or I'm getting traded. And I'm like, I had a great camp. Like, what is going on? And then he tells me, hey, we're trying to get you some help up front. We're going to trade for Richard Seymour, and we want to do some things. Are you on board with that? I was like, hell yeah, I'm on board with that. So Brockman just kind of reminded me that the Patriots will trade a guy a year early when it turns to paying a premium for a player. That being said, Matthew Judon's trade from the Patriots over to the Atlanta Falcons, this is on brand with what the Patriots done. Lawyer Malloy as well, that we talked about a little bit earlier. But was there a tipping point throughout these practices, throughout his hold away from practice, but I'm holding in, now I'm practicing, now I'm disgruntled? Was there a tipping point where the Patriots said, okay, enough is enough, let's just get away with this?
Well, I think the tipping point was just that they got better offers than they were expecting. They didn't think that they were going to get a third-round pick back for him. And all of a sudden, when you've got the Bears in the mix, the Texans in the mix, and then obviously the Falcons, that drives the price tag up to the point where it gets to be a third-round pick, and they say, okay, wasn't the plan to move him. Our defense is going to get worse. Our team is going to get worse. But that's a price that, we've got to jump on. And so they, of course, trade him for the third-round pick. A couple ways to look at that where, on the one hand, of course, they're a rebuilding team. Stockpile all the picks that you can. That makes sense. On the other hand, this new regime, Elliott Wolf, Gerard Mayo, has done things so different than Bill Belichick, where, as you mentioned, Belichick was the king of, I'd rather get rid of you a year too late than a year too early. They've kind of done the opposite. They brought back everybody they could. They re-signed or extended 12 players this offseason from a team that won 4 games a year ago. Tavai, Barmore, Stevenson, Hunter Henry, like anybody who was up or eligible, like, you want money? Great, we got it. We're spending it. Here you go. Matthew Judon was the one exception to that. And it's definitely fair to say he admitted to some jealous feelings of like looking around and, hang on a second, I've been your best player for 3 years. You're extending and re-signing everybody but me? Like, what's going on here? Something's not adding up. And so all of that reached a tipping point where he said, pay me or trade me. They said, all right, we'll kick the tires on a trade. No promises. See what's out there. Maybe we'll get a fourth. And then all of a sudden, when the Bears and Falcons are fighting for thirds, like, okay, now we can make a move. The flip side to all of this, the Patriots just got worse. Like, straight up, an already bad team got worse. That's going to be tough to watch. They wanted to win games by being competitive defensively. Now they're without Christian Barmore, who was diagnosed with blood clots. He's out indefinitely. Matthew Judon is off to Atlanta. Like, their pass rush took massive hits. And I just don't know that they're going to be able to get to the passer like you need to in the NFL.
But my question would be, with the trade of Judon, now people kind of start to see a little bit that maybe we're gearing up for a season that may not be great, that we are in a rebuild. What is the number of, and I don't even know if I'll even go here yet, is there a number of wins that you have to see in year one under Gerard Mayo, or is it starting to look like we're going to do our best, but we're kind of putting our eggs in the basket for 2025?
Yeah, this is the first time basically since Tom Brady showed up 25 years ago that the Patriots are going into a season with zero expectations for wins and losses and what it's going to mean for the playoffs. Like, even last year's disaster, they thought, hey, Matt Patricia's gone as the offensive coordinator. Bill O'Brien's in. That's going to turn things around. Defense is going to be good. We're going to be good. So this is the first year that the wins and losses do not matter for the Patriots. There's only one thing that matters, and that is how Drake Maye looks whenever he plays. Probably is it going to be week 1? Who knows where it's going to be after that? If Drake Maye comes in and shows you promise, it doesn't matter if you go 0-17. If you see signs that this is the guy, we can build around him. It doesn't, of course, have to be to like CJ Stroud, oh my God, we're going for a Super Bowl next year level. But if you're sure that you've got the quarterback, then they've got the cap space, they've got the assets, they can do everything to build around him next year. they just need to show that he's the guy. Like, it was even hard for them to get an offensive coordinator this offseason because everybody was so unsure of what they had at the most important spot in the NFL. And so if they go 0-17, but Drake Maye looks good and he's going to be the guy, that's probably better than going 7-10 with Jacoby Brissett all 17 games.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.